Um, Over like the last 24 hours, it has been revealed that a woman by the name of Noelle Dunphy, who worked for Rudy Giuliani, is currently taking Rudy Giuliani to civil court. An incredibly long rap sheet of just horrific shit. Um, it is lengthy, and I'm gonna preface it by saying trigger warning, because it honestly reads like just a laundry list of horrible sex crimes. Okay, now on top of that, and we'll get into the specifics, okay, of what is being alleged in Noelle Dunphy's suit. But on top of that, Noelle Dunphy claims that she has video and photo evidence of Rudy Giuliani's various crimes. And it doesn't stop with just the sex crimes, because it gets into Rudy Giuliani committing federal and state tax fraud. And it doesn't stop there, because apparently Rudy Giuliani, she has evidence of Rudy Giuliani attempting to sell presidential pardons, which I don't know like how close to a straight to jail type of crime that is. Like, I don't have the legal expertise to like be like it is exactly this bad, but that seems to be like one of the worst things you could get caught doing. And the fact that he's selling presidential pardons makes me wonder, and since he was Trump's lawyer, to what degree was Trump in on this scheme? People are saying that may not be a crime. There is, if it is not a crime to sell a presidential pardon, that's fucking insane to me. That to me that seems about on par with the, well, there's no rule in basketball that says a dog can't play. Like that, that is that level of ridiculous. So here we'll go through some of this, okay? Vanity Fair piece by Bess Levin: Rudy Giuliani accused of being a rapist, racist, and really bad lawyer. Okay. Just published today. This is fresh off the presses, okay? The former Trump attorney has been sued by Noelle Dunphy for horrific acts. She also claims in the suit he offered presidential pardons for $2 million a pop, among other things. Which, by the way, I cannot believe. I cannot believe that it is so cheap to get a presidential pardon. Like, I know $1 million is a lot. $2 million is double a lot. But, like, for the amount of rich assholes who have been arrested, I'm sure there are many who could leverage more than $2 million. I agree, but I just heard a fairly serious attorney saying it. I mean, it is very possible. I'm just saying it is ridiculous if true. It can be unethical, but perhaps not illegal. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things around the presidency, guys, are like mainly just like a lot of the traditions around the presidency. A lot of like the presumed rules of the presidency are mainly just like courtesies and like social expectations of the role. And it wouldn't surprise me if there were some gaps like this, but like, holy shit, there should be a law. No one should be able to just buy a pardon from the president. That's insane. So, And chat, don't be gross about this in the chat, please. I would appreciate it, because this is gonna get nasty and it's gonna get personal, and I'd prefer if you didn't. Let's see. He accidentally wed what I actually didn't know this. Rudy Giuliani accidentally wed his second cousin and was married to her for 14 years. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. In a 70-page complaint filed in the New York State court late Monday, Noelle Dunphy, who worked for Rudy Giuliani as his director of business development, accused the mayor turned Trump attorney of a shocking number of unspeakable acts, all of which she laid out in graphic stomach-churning detail. One of them was allegedly non-stop sexual abuse, including rape. According to the complaint, Giuliani began abusing Miss Dunphy almost immediately after she began working for him, and made clear that satisfying his sexual needs, which came virtually anytime, anywhere, was an absolute requirement of her employment and of his legal representation. Here's just one of many instances as laid out in the lawsuit, and this is a direct quote from the 70 pages of allegations, which, by the way, 70 is a lot of pages. On January 25th, 2019, Giuliani insisted that Miss Dunphy stay in a guest suite in his Upper East Side apartment. Since Giuliani was her boss and attorney, she felt pressured to do as he asked, and ultimately agreed to stay in his guest suite temporarily. Upon arrival at Giuliani's apartment, Miss Dunphy was surprised to find that Giuliani had alcoholic beverages ready for them. After finishing their drinks, Miss Dunphy went to the guest suite alone. When Mrs. Dunphy got out of the shower, she was startled to see that Giuliani had entered the guest suite uninvited. She said she would meet him in the living room when she was ready, but Giuliani would not leave. He sat on the bed and pulled down his pants, which, I'm going to take a pause, is almost exactly what happened in the Borat movie. Except that in the Borat movie, the lady who he was about to sexually assault had an entire, film crew ready to, throw hands to defend her. According to the complaint, Giuliani then pulled her head onto his penis without asking or obtaining any form of consent. He held her down by her hair. It became clear to Miss Dunphy there was no way out of giving him oral sex. She did so against her will. Miss Dunphy was shocked and saddened by what had happened. She did not want to have any sexual encounter with Giuliani of any kind. Yeah. Ms. Dunphy felt extreme pressure to go along with Giuliani's demands because she could not lose her promised salary or her legal representation by the uniquely qualified and connected lawyer. Which, by the way, keep in mind, Rudy Giuliani was America's mayor. He was mayor of New York City, which is arguably one of the most powerful political positions in all of America, you know? There's a reason why many people who become the mayor of New York City run to be president. Yeah. The promised yearly salary in question, per the suit, was $1 million. But according to Dunphy, Giuliani told her her pay would have to be deferred and her employment made secret until his divorce from third wife Judith Nathan was resolved. He allegedly claimed that his crazy ex-wife and her attorneys were monitoring his cash flow, and that if she found out he'd hired a female employee, his ex-wife would attack and retaliate. Incidentally, in 2022, Nathan accused Giuliani of owing her $262,000 he should have paid under their divorce settlement terms. Prior to that, a separate lawyer for Nathan accused Giuliani of working for Trump pro bono to possibly lower his income and thus the amount of alimony he had to pay to his ex-wife. And in retrospect, it sounds like they were onto something. In addition to the seven-figure salary, of which the suit claims she would ultimately see virtually none of, he didn't even fucking pay her. Giuliani had also agreed to represent her pro bono in a domestic violence case against an abusive ex. Yeah, so I'm gonna pause right here, okay, to clarify something. One of the reasons it seems to be in the documents here that Rudy Giuliani specifically targeted Noelle Dunphy is specifically because of her history of having been domestically abused and sexually abused. Okay, so it gets worse, chat. Like you might think this is some of the worst stuff, but like it gets worse. This is again directly from the suit. On March 4th, 2019, Giuliani told Miss Dunphy that he wanted her to end her domestic violence litigation because he felt it was interfering with his sex life with her, and he did not want her to be distracted by it. Giuliani promised Miss Dunphy that he would give her $300,000 in exchange for her waiving her legal rights against her abusive ex-boyfriend, and if she would, and I'm going to quote, "fuck me like crazy." After realizing what he had said, Giuliani attempted to backtrack and stated, "We won't put that last part. We'll say for other consideration not appropriate to mention." So not only did he agree to represent her in her sexual assault and domestic violence case, he just didn't represent her. And here are just a few other examples, because this was a prolonged period of time during which this abuse happened, so Vanity Fair has compiled a few different examples here. He often, and these are directly from what is being alleged, he often demanded oral sex while he took phone calls on speakerphone from high-profile friends and clients, including then-President Trump. Giuliani told Miss Dunphy that he enjoyed engaging in this conduct while on the telephone because it made him feel like Bill Clinton. He would force her to suck his dick while he was talking with clients. And Giuliani often demanded that she work naked in a bikini or in short shorts with an American flag on them that he bought for her, which, fuck, man, that's gross. And also, just like, short shorts with an American flag on them. Why? Like, he went out of his way to get that for her. Like, why? But on top of that, like, you have to understand, like, I know, I can hear the thoughts in, like, young men's heads, okay? I can hear them right now. And they're going, well, why didn't she just leave? She was she clearly, like, was well known. She was making $1 million a year, supposed to be anyway. Why didn't she just leave? Well, one, because he was holding her paycheck hostage, and two, he has the president, either the president of the United States or the former president of the United States, depending on the time. He has the ear of the most powerful man on earth. And he himself is a very powerful man. He can destroy her career. Not just her career, but he can destroy her entire life. Like, when we're talking about people with this level of power, like, we're talking like and you're not, if they're not afraid to abuse that power, of course, like, he could get, like, FBI agents sent to her house. He could get corrupt cops from the NYPD to plant evidence. He can get so many things done to completely destroy her. and make sure she never works again. He can break her entire career. So that's why she's not, like, leaving at this point, because she doesn't have the money. He's keeping her like a pet. That's why. When they were apart, they would often work remotely via video conference, and during those conferences, Giuliani almost always asked her to remove her clothes on camera. He often called from his bed, where he was visibly touching himself under a white sheet. Another instance, on February 25th, 2019, Giuliani forced Miss Dunphy to have sexual intercourse with him for the first time. Before this, Miss Dunphy had refused and avoided having sex with Giuliani, although he had forced her to engage in other sexual contact. But on February 25th, Giuliani told Miss Dunphy he would not wait any longer to have sex with her. Miss Dunphy objected and told Giuliani repeatedly that she did not want to have sex, but Giuliani would not take no for an answer. He eventually forced her into having sexual intercourse with him. She never consented to intercourse, but she eventually stopped resisting because it was clear that he would not stop pressuring her. According to the suit, Giuliani continually pressured her into sex. He also tried to get her to watch The General's Daughter, a 1999 movie in which a woman is raped and murdered, which Giuliani allegedly described as sexy. And this is... We're going to start seeing something here throughout these allegations, and it's that... allegedly, Rudy Giuliani really gets off to the idea of women being violated and being assaulted. He is actively attracted to the idea. Was that him threatening her? No. He's actively attracted to the idea of hurting women. On March 4th, 2019, Giuliani expressed a fantasy to Dunphy in which they had sex in the lobby of a hotel room, and he told the doorman, "I need time alone with my girlfriend, with my daughter, with my little girl." Per the suit, this became part of a pattern in which Giuliani referenced Miss Dunphy as his daughter in the context of sexual activity and made her extremely uncomfortable. On another occasion, Giuliani told Dunphy, while engaging in sexual contact with her, "I think of you as my daughter. Is that weird?" And that was far from the only vomitous thing he had to say to her. Hello, Entrama. Other comments from Rudy Giuliani. I'm going to make it a little painful. Stick it up your ass. You're a fucking slut. You're my bitch. Be a slut. Be Rudy's slut. I want to own you officially, legally, with a document. I can't control myself. I lose control. I think of you all the time. I'm unable to control it. I'm addicted. I can't think of you without getting hard. Even when I think about how smart you are, I get hard. He also would say to her, and keep in mind, she recorded a lot of these interactions, chat. He also stated he would get in trouble with underage girls if they looked 20 but were actually 16. Not only was it all recorded, it was recorded with Rudy Giuliani's knowledge. Giuliani and Miss Dunphy also discussed during her job interview that she one day would write a book on Giuliani and Trump. Giuliani gave Miss Dunphy permission to record her interactions with Giuliani anytime, anywhere, as well as Giuliani's interactions with others. Giuliani thereafter continually permitted and authorized Miss Dunphy to make such recordings. He never asked her to stop recording any interaction. At times, Giuliani pressed record himself on Miss Dunphy's cell phone to record their conversations. What the hell? What the hell? Third Archon, thank you for the $20. The down payment on the therapy this will surely require. True. Some of the other comments that were made and recorded, talking about Jewish penises being smaller, how Black and Hispanic domestic violence is ingrained in the culture and natural to them. He also, I'm going to quote this one, Jews want to go through their freaking Passover all the time. Man, oh man. Get over the Passover. It was like 3,000 years ago. The Red Sea parted. Big deal. It's not the first time that happened. Which... What? What? Does Rudy Giuliani know about a second time the Red Sea was parted? Was there another guy named Schmoses who came along and parted the Red Sea a second time? What? He talked a lot about the freaking Arabs. He also sexualized Hillary Clinton and talked about her body, as well as Margaret Thatcher. God. Dark Jack? Am I dark? Like, the lighting settings on my monitors make it incredibly hard to balance what I look like on screen. Do I look okay? He also talked a lot about the possibility of having to have sex with Nancy Pelosi. Accused Mike Bloomberg of becoming gay after his wife left him. He called Matt Damon a fag. And told his repeated rape victim, "You're so easy to take advantage of." Dunphy says after Giuliani first forced her to engage in oral sex, she asked him for the name of the human resources director because she was considering reporting what had happened. And he allegedly responded that he did not have a human resources department and bragged that no one would ever sue him because he is connected to President Trump. And he had private investigators who would punish anyone who complained. God. The second month after she began working for him, he began isolating her from others and forbade her from seeing or talking on the phone to anyone without his approval. And to be fair and balanced, Giuliani's spokesperson released a statement saying, Mayor Rudy Giuliani unequivocally denies the allegations raised by Ms. Dunphy. Mayor Giuliani's lifetime of public service speaks for itself, and he will pursue all available remedies and counterclaims. Apparently, Giuliani also gave Noelle Dunphy complete access to his email account, which included emails to and for or about President Trump, the Trump family, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump, Jared Kushner, former FBI Director Louis Freach, Trump lawyer Jay Sekulow, secretaries of state, former aides to President Trump, such as Steve Bannon, Reince Priebus, Kellyanne Conway, former attorney generals Michael McCasey, and Jeff Sessions, media figures like Rupert Murdoch, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and notable figures including Newt Gingrich, presidential candidates for Ukraine, which interestingly not Zelensky, other notable figures for the presidency of Ukraine. Interesting. I wonder who those were. Emails with President Recep Erdogan of Turkey, the Roger Ailes family. The list goes on and on and on. Basically, he just allowed her to read any and all yeah. Just holy shit. How did this man get through law school? How did this happen? Like, on top of just he needs to go to jail today. Also, like, what is the statute of limitations on like sexual assault? Like, if this can all be substantiated, and if there are recordings, it can absolutely be substantiated. How does this not go to criminal court? That's my major question, right? Like, even if you take all of the political stuff out of it, how does this sexual assault case not go to court? Like, not go to like criminal court? If these incidents happened 4 years ago, that seems like it's well within the statute of limitations. In New York City, most criminal offenses have a 5-year statute of limitations. Okay, well, then, like, this seems... Some of this sounds like R-word, and that would be still in the... Yeah, no, a lot of this sounds like rape. A lot of this sounds like rape. She'd have to swear a criminal complaint? I mean, keep your eye on this, because part of me is wondering if Giuliani would sell out Trump as being the mastermind of, like, selling pardons. I don't know. We'll see. While almost nothing about this horrifying suit is funny, there is one thing that legitimately is. Giuliani asked Miss Dunphy for help in Googling information about obstruction of justice, among other topics. So is the fact that as far back as February 7th, 2019, the then president's personal lawyer allegedly told Dunphy about a plan that had been prepared for if Trump lost the 2020 election. Specifically, Giuliani told Ms. Dunphy that Trump's team would claim there was voter fraud and that Trump had actually won the election. This plan was discussed at several business meetings with Giuliani and Lev Parnas. Which, this sounds made up. Well, keep in mind, right? If you think that this is made up, it is actually a crime for her to allege these things in court and not be able to substantiate them. Like, what she is doing in civil court right now, if she is unable to substantiate them, if all of this is fabricated, if the recordings she allegedly has do not exist, she could face her own criminal... She could face a criminal trial, you know? So, if you think it's made up, she's actually putting her ass on the line by alleging any of this. But, I mean, time will tell. She thinks she has evidence to prove this, and given that she has allegedly recordings of this, I'm gonna guess that she and her legal team basically have this in like just they got it locked down. Um, Interesting. Speaking of crimes like trying to overturn the election, around May 31st of 2019, uh, can anyone think of something that might be coming up in 2020, an event that might have occurred? Giuliani directed Miss Dunphy to delete her messages with him. He directed Miss Dunphy not to talk to the FBI about him and about various matters that she had witnessed while working for him. And he threatened that he had access to professional investigators who would make her look bad, even though Giuliani admitted she was very innocent. Um, on January 7th, 2021, Dunphy, per her lawsuit, told Giuliani, "I feel scared of you, and I don't want you trying to hurt me." Several weeks later, her employment was terminated. Literally the first time that she expressed that she was worried, he fired her. Giuliani allegedly sent her a text message that read, "I had hoped you would get over your unjust claims of being afraid and wanting to sue. This is just not a basis for any form of communication. Sorry, I tried to make it sensible." Taken together, Dunphy has accused the former mayor of, among other things, rape, crimes of violence, and crimes of violence motivated by gender, battery, assault, gender discrimination, sexual assault, retaliatory discharge, and wage theft. Yeah, and I imagine that some of the information she has might be extraordinarily interesting to, especially considering she was fired in 2021. Some of the information she might have might be extraordinarily interesting and valuable to the people investigating January 6th. What's his name? Jack. Is his name actually Jack Smith? Yeah. Oh God, the least memorable name. Apparently, she has saved texts. She has saved texts. She has saved recordings, both audio and video. Like she has an airtight case. Unless something mysterious happens, she has an airtight case. If the evidence she has exists. I hope she's in protection somewhere. I hope she hires really good protection. And I hope she makes so many copies and redundancies for the information she has. No one needs Rudy sex tapes. Well, that's true. But a court and a jury might need Rudy rape tapes. So here's a thought I had. What if Rudy strikes a plea deal and has to sell Trump out for it? Honestly, Nindrine, that's been running through my mind since I read kind of the rundown of these. It is not unfeasible that Rudy Giuliani, caught in this absolute cauldron of shit, would attempt to save his own skin by selling out Donald Trump. Would they be forced to see the full videotape? Yes, that is how like evidence works. He's definitely leaked Trump crimes and recordings. No, Gamer G. Around Noelle Dunphy, if these allegations are true, he had no filters whatsoever. He gave her complete access to all of his email. And his emails included contact with world leaders, with Donald Trump, with candidates in other countries for presidencies. If what she is saying is true, she knows everything. She knows everything. So if this is true, Rudy Giuliani is Dunzo Washington, okay? He is toast. And good fucking riddance.